We firmly believe that Black women are not only magical, but we are as invaluable and powerful as vibranium. Our podcast is dedicated to empowering Black and Brown women to embrace the transformative power of astrology and tarot. Through these intuitive arts, the Melanated Mystics will guide you to explore and connect with your deep inner magic and help you to finally release the burdens of Black Superwoman Syndrome. It's time to redirect our energies inward and prioritize ourselves on this transformative journey of self-discovery. Our topic today, and I hope everyone's excited about it, and really it's kind of the impetus and the reason we even decided we wanted to start doing this podcast. We could talk about this forever. We're going to try and keep it cute and tight, like 45 minutes. But our topic is Black women's magic. How it's inherent and natural to us, but we have a habit of giving it away. And it's not just a habit. It's like almost a syndrome.
It is a syndrome. It's an affliction. Yeah. The title, we wanted to talk about why Black women use their magic for everybody but themselves. And the reason I really like this topic and the title is that anybody who just heard that knows exactly what I'm talking about. Literally, when I was a child, and I remember watching The Color Purple for the first time, right? And I knew it right then. I was like, why is that woman giving up her life? There were several characters there, several examples of Black women's magic. Celie had this magic. Her sister had this magic, right? But I remember thinking, why are these women giving up their lives for this man or for this religion or for this way of being or for this situation, right? And it was just kind of a given, That's actually a great movie, a great example of just like, it's just a given, right? This is what is expected of her. And the woman who didn't give up her magic, Shug, right? My hero, right? Shug. She was vilified. She was the outcast. She was the harlot. She was all those things, right? Yeah. So I think that even from a young Black girl age, I knew that there was an expectation of me to use what I had for other people's gain. And I did not see any examples of media or even my life and my family life of women, Black women, who were keeping their magic for themselves. And so that's why we wanted to talk about this, because we're in an age, especially an astrological age, where we're kind of waking up to magic, period, especially the authentic, unique magic we have within ourselves. And as Black women, we need to know how to harness it and to channel it into us. And through channeling it into us, other people will be affected just by being in our electromagnetic field, but it has to come through us first. So, yeah.
Oh, I'm so excited for this topic because as you say that, and as you mentioned The Color Purple girl, you take me back in Black history. Immediately, little Black girl again at my grandma's house in southern Mississippi. And my grandmother was this very elegant lady and she liked film but they had to be good films, right? Like they had to be Oscar nominated. They had to be mostly serious. And Color Purple girl, when I tell you, I know every line of that movie. And just as you brought that up, I was thinking, oh my gosh, it is so true. Like we were literally taught, whether it's spoken verbally or not, or we just picked it up from the ether and from the culture and it's not just submitting and turning over everything to a husband. It's to our families, to a church, like to our children. Like it was almost as though we're not supposed to
our brothers.
Exactly. Especially if you got that older, if you're the oldest daughter. And I remember speaking about this with somebody else recently that like, don't we get to have our time ever? Like truly, because some of our parents truly feel like, oh, no, the rest of your life, it doesn't matter if you're in a partnership, doesn't matter if you're a mom, doesn't matter if you have a career, I should still be number one. And since we're making references, I'm going to reference the first time I ever saw what we're talking about, like how Black women, like we're just kind of expected to give away everything we have, all of our magic, whether it's our physical magic, whether it's the magic of our mind, our actual spirituality and our intuitive powers, was when I was on one of my favorite books, Their Eyes Were Watching God by Zora Neale Hurston, who herself was a hoodoo. I'll never forget the grandmother saying to Janie in the very beginning of the novel, like, the Black woman is the mule of the world. And I was like, what? Like, no, like what? Like in that, and I really thought about it in terms of what I saw, in terms of what my mothers gave, my aunts gave. And I remember thinking, yeah, that's on some bullshit, but I'm gonna keep that. I'm gonna keep that private. I'm gonna keep that secret. And I'm so glad we're talking about this now. Tarot is one of the things that helped me, again, y'all hear me talk about this all the time, start a conversation with myself about myself. And that is what we want so much for every single beautiful Black and brown woman listening.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That was a word. Thank you. Mm-hmm. That's the thing, is that we are two people who have come to these, what I call esoteric arts, as a form of self-study. You know, I'm an astrologer. Halicue is an amazing tarot reader. And we have found how we use the mediums to better our lives, but also our clients, you know, like being able to see, you know, I have clients that I've worked with for years now at this point, so consistently, like a monthly basis, you know, where being able to see how, you know, the self-study of themselves through their astrological chart has helped them make decisions in their life, but also has awakened them to their unique magic, you know, their unique self, that their blueprint, their birth tattoo, as I call it. So there is like, it's awakened me to my own, you know, and then starting to see how once you know your worth, once you know your unique blueprint and what you came here to do, it shows up in the world. You can see how you have this impact in the world. Now, Black women in particular already have magic, but now we have tools. Now we want to introduce you to these tools that you can use on a regular basis with your sisters or with yourself, with your family, right? And be that for your family. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't be the one that just goes to college and comes back and supports everybody and stuff. Yes, that's wonderful. Your money, your education, that's absolutely helping you, right? But let it come through you first, and let it be through osmosis is what I'm saying, right? Let that magic be through osmosis, and don't just be an ATM.
Another point I wanted to make, and I just wrote it down. First of all, I thought that was beautiful. Your birth tattoo, like that is so, that's so beautiful. Another goal I know that I have, and I feel pretty confident both of us have, is I want to destigmatize these tools. I feel like for a lot of us, especially if you came out of the South, if you came out of the quote unquote like Black church, there's so much stigma placed on something like astrology, which is crazy because it's in the Bible, or tarot and archetypes or crystals, because those are in the Bible. Crystals are literally in our body. Like, I'm so excited that we're gonna. I want you all to use this podcast too as like an act of rebellion. This is your act of we're breaking this down. These things are ancient. They're ancient. They're timeless, and I think they're perfectly suited to the self-exploration that I truly feel like Black women and girls are ready to undertake. There is no more. I truly, through tarot and through Karrie actually teaching me so much about my astrology and doing my readings. Also, I don't go to any other astrologer for my personal readings. It's a year other than Karrie, but to help me understand myself, because how else can I be effective? How else can I be a loving mother? How else can I be a giving, contributing member to my community? Because I do a lot of kind of local, municipal kind of volunteering and work. If I don't understand who I am, if I don't understand who I am, what my gifts are, what some of my Achilles heels, might be, or some of my challenges, or when there's certain times during the year where, it might be a little hard for you to do this. So let's pivot towards either your physical health or your mothering or getting your body together. Like these things can help us. Our tarot can help us do that. Our astrology can help us do that. We're going to be destigmatizing. So also, if you're not a very outre person or very extroverted about what you do and what you're interested in, it's all right. This stuff is private too.
Absolutely.
It's really nobody's business, and consider it your own form of revolution and rebellion, getting to know yourself through these modalities.
Absolutely. I'm glad you talked about wanting to destigmatize this too, because I think that that's actually been part of the conditioning for Black women, is to be like, don't look at that stuff. How many times you've been taught, like, pray things away, right? And instead of, so I think there's actually been a campaign for Black women in particular to stigmatize these things so that we're not aware. of our own tools and our own magic, or it's been vilified. Like both sides of my family come from the South, come from Louisiana. And I know that there are, practitioners in my family and they are vilified, or it was like, well, we don't talk about such and such, right? Where is that coming from? And so what I grew up with was that, you don't want to talk about those things, It wasn't until I really needed astrology astrology came to me, and it came through mysterious ways. And so you'll start to notice how these things show up in mysterious ways. They're not planned, right? So I came to astrology through like a therapist that I was seeing because I was like having a spiritual awakening that I thought was my life falling apart. It was like, what do you mean I can't work 60, 80 hours a week? Something must be wrong, right?
Mm-hmm,
Get me back on track, therapist, and the therapist is like, here's your astrology chart. By the way, I'm an astrologer as well. And this is why you're going through what you're going through. And it's not a mistake. It's amazing to have someone be able to tell you that, right? Yeah. And that's why I wanted to do that for other people. Astrology and tarot, these are just two modalities. There are so many. And as we go on with our future episodes, we're going to be inviting people who have other modalities that we're not experts in, or that are going to be introducing us to things like Akashic records and human design and all of these, other amazing things that have been around forever and are your birthright, right? So let's just take the stigma out of this right now. It's here. Crystals belong to the earth. Guess what? So do you. There is a natural relationship here, and you should take advantage of it.
It's fun.
Yes.
It's fun.
Yes.
It really is.
Go ahead.
I know there are a lot of stereotypes about like Leo and the Leo personality, but like learning about myself, like what these things are is so much fun. Tarot is fun. These things are not some sort of Damocles. They're not like hanging over your head, like, oh no. Even the cards that, are about change, rapid change, sudden change that you can't help, that's like coming, or endings. They can be fun. They mean different things. They can be so very personal. They can refer to so many different things. And no matter what the feelings are, we know that a lot of the work that we have to do with Black women, because maybe we haven't had the best examples or we haven't been able to afford mental health care, right. is being able to handle our emotions, riding the waves of them. I find that not only is it fun, not only do I get to, I get to laugh sometimes at the serendipities, but they're interesting. Like their cards are different. Like I collect, like when I was a kid, nobody had time or money to be interested in me and my collections, but no, my tarot is my collection, and it's a part of the legacy.
It sounds like somebody said that to you. I don't got time or money to be interested in your tarot.
You heard how I felt that for my soul, for my spirit.
Somebody said that to you. Yes,
exactly. That's another way to ancestors speak. Literally, we can say these traumatic. It's exactly the way we first heard them. But they're fun. So this isn't like so serious or like not that it's not serious, but it's fun. It's interesting, and it's okay.
Serious can be fun.
Yes, it's okay for us to take a real focused interest in ourselves through these two modalities.
You said it right there. It's okay for Black women to take a real and focused interest in ourselves, because that's something that we've been shamed for. I mentioned earlier, just really quick, about the relationship to Black men and to our brothers. And, there was a saying when I was younger that Black women love their sons and raise their daughters. And it's not around too much anymore. I haven't heard it in a long time, but just understanding that, even because I have two older brothers, and I was, the youngest. I was the youngest in my family for a long time until my younger brother came along. But like this idea that I have a duty as soon as I wake up in the morning, because my brothers have so much to contend with being Black men in the world, and this kind of idea that I don't as a Black woman, but that I was literally built to be a support system. That may be the case, right? We are built to be support systems for each other, men and women, right? Mm-hmm. And everything, and people, period, right? But there is a stigma, there is a celebration of men to do the self-study, to do the hero's journey, to do the walkabout. There's a villainization of Black women to do the same, right? Mm-hmm. And so, we talked about Shugabru, we talked about, Zora Neale Hurston, we talked about these are the women that did the walkabout, that did the self-study, that did and found themselves, and that they were vilified for it. So here's how, I just wanted to bring that up really quickly, that's also something that needs to wash away. And as somebody who has, carried that for a long time about you're the strongest one just because you're female.